I wanted to talk about the commodification of even job hunting in corporate America because it was making me so upset. But I'm just gonna start talking now. I'm gonna talk fast because I don't know when my sister's going home. So yesterday I just got upset because apparently there's a limit on how many LinkedIn easy applies you can do, and it's 50, and I hit it, and I was like, I feel like I didn't even apply to that many. But I guess sometimes when you're easy applying, it just like and you're like laser focused, you keep going. But I was upset at that, and at first I was kind of like, is this another thing where it's like, oh, you can keep LinkedIn easy applying if you have premium? And because I was very upset, as I'll show you the video in real time where I was like annoyed. But then it turns out no, it's like for both accounts, premium and basic, free. Which I don't know, that might change. I'm sure it will, because whatever. But no, and I was just like thinking about it. I was like thinking about just the commodification of even just trying to find a job. So I don't know, because I just don't understand why this is a pay to play type thing. That's what it feels like. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like to me, because it's like, how much is LinkedIn Premium? Like, you get a lot of perks with LinkedIn Premium. You get to message recruiters that you aren't able to without it. I looked it up, it says it's $29.99 right now, I think, per month, but I also saw somewhere else it was 40, and I think I'm not really sure what it is. Either way, it's gonna go up. I don't really know. I don't think it's gonna get cheaper, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna use my free trial like starting now in August, because I still don't have a job, and it's getting to the end of summer, and I need a job. And it's just like, why are we commodifying even the process of getting a job? I don't know, maybe I'm unexperienced in that I'm young, and like maybe this is always how it's been. I don't know. But second of all, like there's LinkedIn Premium. That's another thing that I just think is like, it just pisses me off. Corporate America pisses me off. And second thing is like, yeah, you can also get a job through conferences, like for example the SWE conference, like Society of Women Engineers. But the thing is, those are not free. Those cost money for entry. I think I looked up the cheapest ticket, I think, for just a daily entry is, I don't even know, but I don't understand like the access you get to the conference. The lowest one was $150, and the highest one was like $725. Okay, that's crazy. And maybe it's that plus registration. I'm not really sure about the details, but either way, bottom line, it costs at least $100. Okay, and not only that, you gotta pay for it's because it's in New Orleans this year. I don't live in New Orleans, so like I have to pay for a flight to get there, pay for hotels, pay for like food, whatever. Maybe I need a car, I don't know. Yeah, and it's like that you can get covered by that, by certain, if you're still in college. You're like probably women's college, because my women's college, when I was in it, would have covered the fee. But because the thing is, at conferences they do on-spot interviews, right? So you can get an interview right there and then. I mean, are the range of companies what you want? Probably not. They're probably also the military industrial complex that you were probably trying to get away from. You're not gonna it's not always gonna be like what you want. But if you're really, you really you need a job, you feel like, and you're willing to spend that money, then it's a great place to get one. But I just think it's also ridiculous that costs money too. I just don't know. And yeah, so I just was like angry about that, and I know it's not that deep or anything, but I was just like, yeah. And and that's just what I wanted to say. And what else? Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about how my interviews went. I got rejected from all of them. The first one I had June 12th. It went really well. I thought it went great. It was for this company. It was like 30 minutes down from me, 30 minutes down the road would have been perfect. I only had to go in 3 days a week. It was like hybrid. The job sounded so easy. Like, I'm telling you, easy stuff. Like, it was just like, I would have been an engineer, but like, it wasn't even CAD. It was like CAD, but it wasn't like, easy, okay? Come on, like, but I still got engineer, and like, I would still like get paid like an engineer, you know, and I would get hybrid. And they told me like, oh, you have relevant experience, like, blah blah blah, and you live down the road, like, that's perfect because we need you to come in 3 days a week, and blah blah. And they're like, oh, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? I'm like, I love to sing and do music. And then he's like, okay, great, we can use you for holiday parties. And I was like, yeah, great. And so I thought it went really well. And they were like, yeah, just so you know, but there's a second interview we'd have to schedule. And we're still looking at other candidates, obviously, but, you know, we'll let you know. And I was like, great, thank you so much. And I asked some questions too. One of the interviews was like definitely like half asleep, but whatever, I don't care. And I never heard back from them. I followed up and I got no response. And then like later I got a rejection, I think a month later. But anyways, so that week as well, I had my in-person interview. Or did I have my other interview? Whatever, it doesn't matter because it's all within like the span of 7 days, which was crazy. It was crazy having so many interviews in 1 week. But so then the next day, actually no, I think it was that day I was getting ready. It was like a Tuesday. I had to go with my friend up to Massachusetts for an in-person interview. I don't know if you know, but there's like test assessment centers sometimes, some companies do. And so we went up together because we both got that far in the interviewing process. And I honestly, sorry, my throat, I have something wrong with my body. I'm going back to the ENT on the 25th, so I'll let you guys know how it goes. So yeah, I thought it went really well. I dressed to impress. I did forget my shoes, so I had to, like, my friend gave me her shoes, and we wore the same shoes. Thank God we're the same size. And we just stayed in the same hotel room, and my day was first, so I went first, and I thought it went really well. But there was way more competition than I thought there would be. So for reference, there's 4 different tracks. I think there's marketing, digital, something, business, and engineering. I was engineering. I thought there wouldn't be that many engineers. On my day, there were, I think, 3 or 4, and then on her day, the next day, I think there were also 3 or 4. And for reference, they were only going to pick 2 engineers, and they invited, like, so I guess there were 8 engineers in total, maybe 7, I don't know. So yeah, the chances are really bad for engineering track. Actually, for everyone, because they invited 24 people, and all in total, they're only hiring 7 people. So I know I felt like not alone, because I'm like, I know the other engineers. I knew that other girl was gonna get rejected too. I just knew it because the other guy, engineer, I knew where I messed up after I talked to my friend, because, yeah. But either way, back to it. My first day, I thought it went so well. I kind of thought they were gonna pick me, and honestly, I was worried that they weren't gonna pick my friend. That's how well I thought I did. Obviously. So, yeah, and then it was her day the next day. Then we wait, right? We wait. And then she gets an email saying, oh, can we talk to you? Can you have a Zoom team meeting? And then she was like, oh, I'm really scared. I'm like, I'm scared too, but like, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Let me know how it goes. And then she was like, they actually offered me. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. But then she's like telling me about the feedback that they gave her, and it was basically saying, oh, you stuck to your opinions, and we really liked that. And you weren't like, I don't know, wishy-washy or whatever. I think that's something they said. Okay, no, I think they just said you stuck to your opinions and we liked that. And I was like, that was kind of basically, I think, all they said to her, amongst a couple little things. And sorry, I had to burp. Then I was thinking back on when I was interviewing, and I realized where I made a mistake. So for one of the group activities, it was a big group thing. It was unfair to me because after the fact I realized that all the other groups doing this activity were way smaller. Okay, not way smaller, sorry. So the other groups were 4 people, right, as a group. My group, I think, was 6 people. And I know it doesn't seem like a difference, but with these activities, when they're timed, everyone's watching you. This whole table's us, this whole tables are the assessors. It makes a difference, okay? So me and my friend had researched like these assessment centers and we're saying, oh, like during these activities we have to pick up a role. And my mistake was when this started, the other engineer who actually eventually did get picked for the role, once the timer started for after we finished reading everything, once the timer started for the next part, he immediately assumed the position of leader. And I was like, shit. So I was like, okay, then I have to contribute in my own way. So I'm like, I'm going to be the scribe. So I'm going to be writing on the whiteboard like they said that we had. They were like, oh, and by the way, there's a whiteboard if you guys want to like take notes. And I was like, okay, that's something I can do because he just assumed. I'm not mad at him. He was a great leader. He was great. And I even told the other assessors because they asked me what I thought of him. And I was like, I think he was great, honestly. And yeah, so he started leading, and so I went to the whiteboard. I was like, guys, I'll write everything down. But the thing that went wrong with there is because I was trying to get everything down and everyone was saying, I was not formulating my own opinions. So when they asked me, I would say something, but everyone had already gone by that time, and I never really interjected because I was like trying to get my ideas down, their ideas down on the whiteboard instead of generating my own ideas. I made a couple ideas and like a couple comments, but at the end of the day, I was just too focused on writing everything down to really get to show the assessors my like ability. And it's like also with a lot of people in a room, I tend to, unless I'm comfortable with them, and mind you, I just met all these people, okay, unless I'm pretty comfortable with them, I tend not to like interrupt, which I know is bad for corporate. They want you to like speak up, but it's also on top of that I had my job of scribe, and additionally it was just like timed too much. There's only 40 minutes and we had to go through 6 different solutions, or was it 17 minutes? Either way, guys, we were low on time. I think it was 17 minutes, 6 issues. And they asked me later in the personal interview, like, because they asked me, oh, during that group assessment, like, do you think, was there anything you wanted to say that was different? And I admitted, yes, there was something that I wanted to say, but I didn't have enough, like, thoughts formulated because I was so busy being the scribe. And they asked me what it was, and it was like, basically one of the guys was saying, oh, it's this client's fault because she refused the ambulance on site, so we should not give her the full money. And I disagreed with that. I already had a feeling when he said that. I was like, I don't really agree with that. But no one else disagreed either. But I was like, you know, I'm writing everything down, so I'm just not going to say anything because I'm like already having a hard time keeping track of what everyone's saying. I didn't agree with that because in America, do you know how expensive ambulances are? Like, I would reject one too. Everyone in their right mind would reject an ambulance because that is like it's an expensive thing to accept, right? So I'm like, she's not gonna accept it if she can't afford it. And so that was where I disagreed. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have told them that because that kind of showed that, oh, she didn't stick to her opinions, like she didn't say anything. And that was like one of the things they told my friends that they liked about her, like they stuck to her opinions. But yeah, if the group was smaller, I would have talked more. And yeah, so honestly, that's where it made the difference. The tiniest like thing I didn't think mattered. And I'll be honest, I think that this interview process was skewed because we had different sized groups. I don't know if her group also had other engineers too. So like they were comparing me directly to him, I think. And then, oh, and there was actually 3 engineers in our group, I think. In our group in the group assessment, and then outside I think there was another one in the other group. But yeah, so yeah, I got rejected from that. And yeah, and then I had another one that was I had never had a code review interview, but I did lots of research and I had my friend who was a a software engineer at a similar company, like give me like tips and stuff. And I practiced the day before with a partner, you know, like my code and stuff. It was for deep learning. I was like optimizing the structure of a simple structure. It's just like a beam, you know, using deep learning. And yeah, it didn't go well, because I just think he could tell I was nervous and that I wasn't confident. And overall, yeah, maybe I wasn't just like a right fit for the role, but yes, yeah, and then, I mean, I thought the code review itself went well, but apparently that wasn't even the most important part. I think it was like the questions he asked me afterwards, which I thought I was prepared for, but he kind of threw me curveballs. It might also just be because my background is not software computer science. Like I can code. It takes me a lot longer than someone who went to school for it, but like I can do it. But I don't have the background in it. So the questions he asked me, like I think a few of them, I was just kind of like taking a long time to answer and think about, and I was nervous and not confident. In retrospect, like if my background was like comp sci, I would have been able to answer those questions like really easily. But I just had to think too much, and I think he just knew that I just wasn't that experienced with it, and so yeah. I don't know. It's like just ridiculous because I also know these jobs are not that hard. I know someone who works at these companies, and it's like, I'm sorry, they don't do that much. Like, they'll, like, okay, I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to, like, but, like, I'll just say they're on their phones, okay? A lot during work, okay? And I know a lot of people are, and that's just how it is. But, yeah, and it's, like, it's just disappointing because I've had 2 internships at a big company, and I had an internship before that, and yeah, I just thought that these internships would really help me. Not only that, I have my master's in engineering, so yeah, but I guess it just like doesn't matter. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people lied to me about the master's. Like they told me, oh yeah, it's gonna be easier to get a job and you're gonna start at a higher paying salary. That's not how that works. It only works like that in specific companies, and sometimes it's just a lot easier if you're already in the company. If you have your master's, to get a pay raise. To start with, you don't get a pay raise. You can argue like, oh, I'd like to like have a higher starting salary because I also have my master's. They can be like, okay, maybe, but you don't have like industry experience as a full-time. Like internships don't count. Co-ops, I don't know if co-ops count either. But yeah, and then a fourth one. I did have a fourth one actually. But guys, trust me, look at me. That job was so bad. I wouldn't want anyone to have that job. I don't know why anyone would take that job. Like, I would take it if I was desperate, okay? Which I know I am, so I probably should have kept it on the table. But hear me out. My thought process was, wow, I've had all these interviews in 1 week, and I think I bagged 2 out of 3 of them. And so I don't want to keep this job that sounds awful and I would be so unhappy at on the table because I'm so confident that I got these 2 other jobs. Obviously, silly me, stupid me, I was too confident in my abilities to get a job. So yeah, so I guess technically 3 rejections and one I turned down. So yeah, that was how everything went. And oh, we're only at 25 minutes, good. And that's all I had to talk about today. So yeah, I'm not trying to like, actually, yeah, I am going to complain about the state of the job market and the commodification of even job hunting. Yeah, because, am I crazy? Because that's stupid. That's stupid, right? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, oh, and these entry-level job things, they're saying a master's is preferred. They're saying, but you don't need experience. And you still reject me? Like, how? I have the master's. That's preferred. And yeah, like, I have internships, but technically no experience. I'm just like, I know that job is not hard. I know it's not, because I've been like I've been in these places, okay? Like I know how things work, okay? Like it's not that hard. Whatever. Okay. That's all I had to talk about. And I will see you guys in the next one. Yeah. Bye. Yeah, as you can see, I'm gonna start doing my makeup for real, like for most of my videos now, because I was looking at my past videos and the ones where I'm wearing like a lot, I just get more clicks. So it was sad, but whatever. I'll do what I have to do. Because I know you guys say like you don't care, but the algorithm cares. So, and I guess the algorithm is a reflection of the people, but I'm gonna do what I have to do. So yeah, I'm wearing a ton. I'm wearing a ton right now. I'm wearing foundation, lip stain, glitter, eyeliner, eyebrow, contour, highlighter, blush, highlighter, 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 contour. What's it called? Eye paint. Fuck. What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Eyeliner. I said it before. Why did I forget? Eyeliner. Mascara, mascara, mascara. Eyeshadow. I'm wearing all of it. Full disclosure.